Hey guys, Luna here, and we're here with a game called The Summoning, which is another game made by the people who made the test series and the like. Now let's see where this game gets us, I suppose, since you already know how this happens. Interesting, so there's the... And there's the table where we've asked questions before. So has this wall been knocked down before when the bed is moved over? Because there's more room here before. So there's the bear doll, and there's the occasion. There's the Okay, so this is what looks like to be the room that we've taken these before. Okay, that's good clues. Kind of interesting layout, to say the least. You've taken upon yourself to indulge your curiosity by plunging headfirst into this game, otherwise known as a summoning. Except this isn't a game. I need you to listen and read very carefully, as I'll only get this one opportunity to explain things for what they are, and you'll only get this one chance to comprehend it before continuing onward, something you may be not entirely prepared for. Before continuing on, you'll need a few things. These I'm gonna get some paper, and I'm gonna have a pencil, just in case. These items are absolutely imperative to your task presented during this session. If you do not have these things, you're wasting your time entirely. This is highly recommended that you play this game with headphones to get the full experience. Check. If you do not have headphones, you may opt to continue anyways, but you absolutely positively should have your volume at a suitable level, whether you like it or not. Which I do too. You will need a mirror or access to the mirror, such as in the bathroom, piece of paper. So yeah, I do have a mirror. I can also use my phone for a reflection. A piece of paper, writing utensil, check. Writing utensils such as a pen and pencil, marker, or anything else suitable for writing, check. Access to a dark room with absolutely no lights. I can't really do that, there's light from outside, so it's doing the best that I can. And most importantly, you need yourself, which of course I have me. Let's be real here, you also need an open mind. You may be one of those skeptics that like to with your deeply ingrained personal fears, say putting on a macho act. However, money was spent on this experience. If you fuck this up, you won't get your money's worth, so it's your choice. With that being said, this isn't something to be taken lightly for more reasons than just simply not working. Not working in this very case isn't just nothing happened. It could also mean very bad things happening. Just listen. Have you ever thought about contacting beings from another realm? Things that were here long before we were? Things that walked among us, people we once knew that are now gone? Things that never walked this earth in human form at any given point in time. What you're about to do is not for the weak of mind or faint of heart. You may think this is complete and utter bullshit. You may even think that if this is real, you got no spirits or entities looming around your residence anyways. I know that isn't true. Therefore, you've got nothing to come in contact with, even if this is in fact real. Well, let me tell you something. This is very much, in fact, real. And you do have entities looking around you, whether you've noticed them or not. You see, entities can come along at only points in time for many different reasons that you've never think about. For example, do you own something you've not made yourself? A pair of clothes, a shoe, a hat, second-hand items of sort passed down by a relative? Perhaps acquired as a used or pre-owned object from a thrift store? Or maybe you don't live alone. Maybe someone in your house owns something that fits this description. An ornamental plate, a cup, article of clothing, a used book, a box, anything that was owned by someone that could now, today, be deceased. Either way, even if none of this fits your lifestyle, guess what? Spirits can travel a lot further than you think. Do you have neighbors? Well, if they're haunted, so are you. The spirits just haven't been invited in properly to make themselves acquainted. Yet. With that being said, what you're about to embark upon is by far the realest experience you'll ever get to have in your life if done properly. Now, there are rules, of course. For example, you've got to be alone. If you're not alone, the person with you must participate. If you used to participate, they must leave. If you do not follow this instruction, this will not work. If you start this process and you do not see it through the end, this will not work. If you do not follow every instruction clearly and concisely, or do not heed every wording, this will not work. Worse. It is paramount importance that you follow every instruction exactly as written. This should not be taken lightly. This is not to be mocked. You only get one shot at this experience. Do not mess it up, or you will not be able to attempt it a second time. Before we continue, I'd like to explain that by venturing forth into this experience, you acknowledge that all supernatural damages or otherwise ill effects of any kind is entirely your own liability. By continuing on, you acknowledge and waive all liability on my part. I will not be held responsible for anything that does or does not happen to you or your belongings, or those around you during your session, or at any point onward once the session has come to a close. Once you start, you may not stop until your session is complete, which could take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, or more depending on how slowly you go, but you must complete your session no matter what happens. By acknowledging this disclosure, you agree with all terms written thus far. By backing out now, your session will end immediately before it has even begun. Do you accept these terms? I take full responsibility and accept. You accepted the terms and conditions, as well as self-liability for anything that may occur from this point on forward. Now, just a reminder, you're going to need a few items as previously mentioned. You will need a mirror, piece of paper, your writing utensil, such as a pen, pencil, marker, or anything else suitable for writing. If you're alone, great. If you're with someone, they must, and I repeat, must do everything as written alongside you. If this means speaking out loud, you both recite verses simultaneously in unison. I will write various instructions for you to follow. You'll go around this room from place to place, interacting with all objects in the room until everything has been found. This part is crucial. If this does not work, it's because you did it wrong, whether it was unintentional misstep or your subconscious attempt to mess things up. Or you're out of fear of what might come as a result of following the instructions properly, it is 100% your fault. The first thing you need to do is have all lights, and I mean all lights, completely turned off. You should have nothing that provides any level of light other than the device you're using to read these instructions right now. No. The second thing you need is to be alone or with willing participants. Your door must be entirely closed, which it is, and you must be not interrupted during this session. You'll need to have these items mentioned formally near you for when they're called upon for use. Quick warning before we begin. I repeat, do not light any. You may think you're making an atmosphere more spooky. You may have read or seen on television that lighting candles can aid in summoning spirits. Just don't. Not only do you not need candles, but you're doing is giving them another weapon to potentially use against you, especially with this experience. Do not play with fire. You will regret it. Is that why the fireplace was lit? Again, you've only got one chance to remark on the experience. What you get out of it is entirely what you make of it. If you're closed mind, if you're acting tough in front of your friends, mocking the instructions, or belittling the powers that be, I feel very, very sorry for you. That being said, this is it. Are you ready to continue? Let's begin. Very well. You've been warned. You begin exploring around the room at your own convenience. So, if you can't take any more, you can end the experience here, but please read my warning. Once you've already started, you're much better off toughing it out and finishing. Trust me, something is lingering. Maybe you can feel it. Maybe it hasn't made its presence known yet, but you cannot send back what has come through without finishing the session as agreed upon in the pact. Are you positive you wish to end the session? You will have to start the entire process over again if you wish to continue at a later time. Quitting prematurely is not advised. I want to tough it out and stay. This is the smartest decision you could have made. The spirits hate cowardice and wasted time. Only the brave will prevail. So this is fate, actually. I think this is fate or choices. So, here's the dolls. There's things that moved around. So no, okay, that is the corner. There's the bed. Please read through very carefully, as this is the most important to getting through this experience with your sanity intact. I'm going to give you very clear and concise instructions, and you're going to follow them exactly as they're laid out for you. You're going to lie down. You may choose to lie down on the bed, on a couch, or sofa, or the floor if you prefer, but you must be lying down. Once you've completed step 1, you close your eyes and begin to rub your temples with your fingers very softly. Do not press too hard. This is meant to be relaxing and help you to get step 3. Once you begin to calm down a little and sink into the feeling of relaxation, you're going to keep your eyes closed and count from 1 to 18 very slowly. Very awkward if I have to lie down and do this, so I'm gonna do my closest adjacent to lying down. 1. So wait, no. Close your eyes and count. Okay, so. If you feel uncomfortable, do not fret. This will not bother you while laying down and slipping into a state of relaxation. This is your time to relax before activities begin to pick up around you. Once you count from 1 to 18 slowly year in hand, you'll now count backwards from 18 all the way back to 1, just as slowly as you've counted upwards. So, I guess I'll do that. Once you reach 1, you imagine you're walking down a long corridor. The corridor is well lit. There's a bright white light and you feel safe in this corridor. Okay, I can imagine that. You see a series of doors down the corridor. Take a mental note what each door looks like. Every minor detail is important. Color of the doors. Imagine they're like oak doors or brown doors with like those 4 squares, like little rectangles. Are there any items laying around? There's not. There's the torches are blue, and if you get a bad feeling, which 5 are entirely up to you. If you get a bad feeling about the door, you must use your gut to guide you. Though you know yourself best, and some doors might not be safe. There's only 5 doors, so. You may encounter entities in the room you visit. This is normal, however. Be mindful of a few that you meet. They are not what they seem. Your senses will not lie to you, but the entities may rely on your sight, smell. Come across locked doors. If the doors are locked, you may find a key in another room. Remember, you're to visit 5 doors and 5 doors only. Do not visit 6 rooms. Do not leave at 4 or less. You are progressing through these 5 doors. Explore and search as best you can. a total of 5 items by the time you finish searching. These items can be anything of value, randomness as they are not truly random. You may see things that you can take in each room, but your soul will be drawn to items in which you're supposed to take. Once you've visited 5 rooms and gathered 5 items, you will see a glowing red exit sign appear at the end of the long corridor. But if it's glowing any other color than red, do not enter it. If you're colorblind, you still would be able to tell the difference as you're not seeing through normal eyes. The exit sign is not glowing red. Instead, look for a new exit sign in one of the 5 rooms you entered previously, but do not under any circumstances glowing red exit sign. You may open your eyes and come back to whatever device to continue this experience. During your travels down the corridor and into various rooms as previously mentioned, you may encounter entities. If you encounter a woman with a black veil over her face, do not look at her if she attempts to lift the veil and reveal her face to you. If she speaks to you, ignore her words. Do not listen to what she says. If she follows you, do not turn around. If she tries to block you from entering a room, do not touch her or try to get by. Just go in a different direction. If a woman suddenly disappears, stay away from closets, cupboards, as she may be. Meet a man with no eyes. He may offer you an item to take. Do not take it. Do not trust his words. If you come across an old woman in a rocking chair, ask her if you're in danger. If she says yes, then take any item from the room and leave immediately. You may revisit any rooms you previously entered until you've gathered. At least, if you find a mirror in any of the rooms, you may gaze at your own risk, but you may not like what you see. You may not encounter any of these things as mentioned in your journey. Regardless, they must be mentioned as a precaution. Would you like to proceed, or would you like to hear all the details again? Ready to proceed. Very good choice you made. So, if you're at this point, I am going to assume you accidentally proceeded, or you might proceed this message if you've not completed this task, for there's no fixing what you could have set in motion by skipping this trial. Do not press anything until it's complete. So guys, I guess we're gonna do this together then. So if you're at home, do it yourself. But I don't care what I. It is complete. Congratulations, you managed to complete a trial. Write the items you were able to obtain in the rooms you visited down on a piece of paper. Randomly on the paper. You will use this later. Make sure you use the same piece of paper for all the rituals. If the trial is not completed, you'll need to complete it. Having completed it, you need to reset your message and try it again. This is the most important. These trials are mandatory. Trials are not to be skipped under any circumstance. Well, I'm gonna close my eyes and do the thing then. Okay, so the 5 items I thought were a black staff made of wood, a journal of one of my characters, animal that I really care about, and actually a paper with indescribable. So I'm gonna write this down. So, enemy, I cannot find much time to leave these hidden messages, warnings, and notes around you. I do not sense their presence near at this very moment, but they will come back. They always come back. I'm sorry to all of those who've begun this journey. I urge you to complete it. They want you to stop prematurely. They want you to not follow through with your pact, with your agreements. I did not want this for anyone, for those that got themselves into something beyond their imagining. If I did not follow through with their beckoning, they would never let me sleep again. If you made this far, you've done well. Keep going. Do not falter now. The rituals are simpler. They are a test of your will, but do not cut and run early. Do not skip any part. Do not think you can escape if you do. They will not come. They're already here. If a woman has made her presence known to you, then you already know how bad it can get. She's looking, but you've not yet seen her. Whatever you do, I do not, and do not repeat something. Can I read that again? She won't let me tell you. Okay. Would you dare to leave your feet hanging off the bed when you sleep at night? Most people wouldn't. That's very good. Oftentimes, the most evil spirits will rise from the floor when the victim is sleeping and grab their feet to wake from their slumber. Sleep is one of the most important necessities when it comes to spirits aiming to haunt, infest, or even possess a living soul. They target stopped when they're most vulnerable. This happens more often than one would remember. If you recollected this happened to you even once, it doesn't mean it only happened once. It doesn't mean it only happened once. It means there are many more times that you don't remember. The living soul only remembers being woken when the spirit is strong enough to generate enough force to wake their victim. But this generally means that the spirit is already at a level of power that they can begin causing real harm soon enough. They've been trying to wake you for a while. They just weren't strong enough yet. If you ever wake up out of the blue and feel someone's eyes on you, that means the spirit's so strong that they don't need to touch you to disturb your slumber. This is an incredibly dangerous circumstance to be in. The worst building stage of them all is being woken out of sleep by hearing a voice call your name, oftentimes a familiar voice like a family member or a loved one. If this starts happening, it means the spirit is able to beckon your soul directly. It's trying to communicate with your soul to trick it into leaving your body while you sleep, so the spirit can enter your body. Spirit realm, lost and alone. This is often confused for sleep and can result in horrible outcomes. The more one frightened one gets, the more tired the soul feels. This is called spirit draining. Do not let them win. Continue your search and finish your task. And then that's just you complete the trial. If you haven't, do so. If you have, continue onward. Spirits often attach themselves to very sentimental objects, such as jewelries in many cases. Sometimes they will pick jewelry up and carry it to another location. This is done to either bring attention to the living, annoy the person, frighten them, or sometimes they will just simply not want the person to have jewelry and that resembles something close to what they wore during their life. Necklaces, bracelets, and rings are often quite haunted. People have died not only when being previous items or sun items, but during the dangerous process of gathering precious gemstones in order to craft the jewelry itself. Oh. She would take what's yours, give her what she wants. Yeah. Some literature suggests that when a target of supernatural harassment feels a short of breath, it is often due to a spirit that died as a result of hanging. They wish for you to know, make their presence known, and teach you about their history in life, rather than merely knowing them in death. It applies to those who have died to However, not all spirits just want their presence to be known or just want you to know what happened to them. Some of them have truly malicious intent and wish for you to feel that pain for reasons of spite, simply because they're envious that you're still alive and they're not. Finish what you started. Their power grows each moment. Tragedy often breeds the most maleficent of spirits, especially when love is involved. Be very wary of those around you. You'll feel them, you'll feel their intent, and you'll feel a sense of worth clouded by freezing malice. Do not attempt with their scorned lovers' spirits. Respect them always. They're hurting, and they may want you to hurt as well. I'm here. Your neck will chill your spine. It's very common for crystals in general, glass, and even mirrors to be used as rituals. Throughout history, stories tell of the deceased even being able to communicate through mirrors and glass, and even more between them to contact the living and visit them, oftentimes without their knowledge. If you ever looked in the mirror and you could have sworn you've seen something move, you did. That was an entity trying to pass through the mirror and into your surroundings. It's already passed through and is currently making its presence known to you. The next time you see something move in a mirror, try blinking. This will allow your eyes to pick up on any major movement it's attempting to disguise. It may want to know it may want you to know that it's there, but that doesn't mean it wants you to know exactly. Crystal ball can be used as a tool to tell your past, present, or future. Only you get to decide the actions to take to change any of it. Proceed with caution and align your stars. Yeah, okay. There's a blood spot here. Here. Let's do the fire. Oh, witches were burned at the stake throughout history, but so many innocent people were mistaken to be witches with very limited evidence. The spirits of those wronged became maleficent and were far more dangerous. Burned, as the witches' souls often pass on much quicker to the other side, while innocent souls sought vengeance for the wrongdoings of their peers. Some of them have messages to send, some of them want you to hear it, some of them are around you right now. Listen, but do not speak. You can see their places in the flames. Please read very carefully, as this is the utmost important in getting through the intact. I'm going to give very clear and concise instructions, and you're going to follow them exactly as they're laid out. You're going to need a mirror for this to work. I have my... If you do not have a mirror present, you need to go to the bathroom or somewhere with a mirror that you can reliably use. If you're standing in the doors closed and the lights are off, it should be completely dark around you. If you're going to close your eyes while facing the mirror and recite this phrase out loud while keeping your eyes shut. I need an eyes to see you. I need an ears to hear you. I need a nose to smell your scents. I feel your presence. I give consent. Go ahead and recite it a few times right now so you don't forget. The words before you venture to try it. You mustn't mistake a word or this will not work for you. Once you recite the words in the mirror, turn back and then open your eyes. Do not look back in the mirror. Trust me, you will not like what you see. Walk back to your seat slowly. Remain calm. Do not hear any whispers or a voice of an old woman. Do not respond. Do not answer. Just come back to your device. If you feel like you're being followed, if you hear footsteps behind you, just keep walking until you get back here and shut the door behind you. If the mirror is located in your room, just sit quietly for a moment until the nose is subside. Continue onwards. I'll give you the phrase to speak one more time. Remember it well. Eyes to see you clear. I needn't ears to hear you near. I needn't a nose to smell. I feel your presence, I give consent. I'm ready to proceed. I'm proud of you. My camera. I needn't eyes to see you well. I needn't ears to hear you near. I needn't nose to smell your scent. I feel your presence, I give consent. And at this point, you probably complete the task. There's no fixing what you could have set in motion by skipping this trial. Do not press anything until it is complete. If it is complete, congratulations. If it isn't, I'm sorry. If you heard any noises, write down that they were on a piece of paper. If you use the same piece of paper for all the riches presented to you. If you heard no noises, just simply write silence. There's that gray bar at the bottom. See, I see that. Earlier warning was not clear. Do not light candles. If you have candles lit, blow them out. Do not have fires around you when performing these rituals. Candles are often used in many rituals, not excluding demonic. Bear in mind and continue your exploration. See that gray bar? No, I don't want to end the session. There's a piano. It's just so weird that the thing just ended and changed. Many of the notes you will find hidden around this room are straight from real occult books used in actual rituals from hundreds of years ago to bring forth things to our realm, or stories inspired by those tales and legends written in such books. Once you've started writing something, you must finish it. Leaving a gateway open without properly closing it can be extremely detrimental. Upon agreeing to the pact, when we started, something was opened. The only way to close what was opened is to finish what you started. Sanction mind and will, and this will be a breeze. Falter and you will fail. I'm watching you. It's important to keep the music playing. If you turn it off and start to hear it again, you're in trouble. Look elsewhere. You ever looked at a clock at the same time every day? 3 a.m. every day, 111 every day, 9/11 every day? Regardless of the time, it's often the same, but why? When a soul is left on earth after the body has perished, it will try to communicate with the living by subconsciously reminding the person to look at the clock over and over again. This is to let them know that the hour of their death. Something is trying to communicate with you at all hours of the day, attempting to squeeze in as much information through your psyche as humanly possible, because they're only hoping of salvation in the afterlife. They will not stop until they will have your undivided attention. Eye creaking noise. Your time is ticking away. Look elsewhere. Hear her voice, do not answer. If she cries, do not ask what's wrong. If she laughs, do not run. If she touches you, do not flinch. If she shows herself, do not look. Basically, do not respond in any sort of way. Many people believe that the only way to make sure that the dead stay dead is to salt their corpses before burial, as salt is often used to bind a spirit and keeping it from coming into our realm. I assure you, salt does nothing. I tried it. I tried everything. Salt does not stop them. There is a very specific way things must be done, always. Keep going. Many known cases of hauntings, especially those of the most violent in nature, have been linked to the same symptoms and victims repeatedly, such as deep-level unexplained depression and anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere. Be mindful if you feel something like this near and making its presence known to you. If you're suddenly struck with fear, dread, panic, worry, nervousness, and you can't seem to shake it, you may be under a supernatural attack. If you want to desperately get out of your house but feel inclined to stay there but can't explain why if asked, such as your family or friends want you to go to social gatherings and you would love to go, but feel an incredible amount of social anxiety or stress when you think about going, as if you're bound to your residence, then you may need to take a good hard think about what may be going on around you, especially when all other avenues do not seem to be helping, wants you to be isolated, and wants you to be weak and alone. Oh, that's her from the other game, the horoscope. A witch by the name of Helga von Stein, I remember that, was once the owner of the occult book. The occult book that much of this information come from. She wore a black veil over her face as her first and only husband was taken from her, making her a widow. Her husband meant more to her than anything in the world, and she would have given her anything to have him. Made a deal with Lucifer himself to offer sacrifices in return of her husband's soul. She would never obtain a physical body for her husband again, but she was able to speak with him using miracles and rituals, meditating and seeing him in corridors of her mind, where she lay down to rest and communicating through scribes of paper when using symbols and words. In return for being able to speak with him nightly, she would place evil curses on the houses of those in the village that sent her husband to his death, and when they grew sick, she would drag their bodies to her home in the woods and sacrifice them using horrible, wicked disturbing method to torture. After, when the villagers had gone, Helga remained. She had to keep her end of the bargain. She needed to find fresh souls to sacrifice to Lucifer, so she devised a plan. She wrote a book of rituals and spells and spent her much time copying it over and over and over again until she had enough books to place and in many towns where she would find it. When she passed on, her debt would still need to be paid, so these rituals were a way to open a gateway back to the world of the living to haunt potential victims so that she may appease her debtor. So the unknowing victims would read and act on these rituals for various reasons, so she would begin to haunt them, making her presence known and attempting to communicate with those she would haunt until they find a way to break the curse they had inflicted upon themselves by falling for the treacherous tricks of Helga's rituals. That's a lot. That's fast. I'm sorry if you couldn't understand it. You probably are having an easier time reading it than me. She's here, don't stop. You can feel her coldness in the air, sense her near, and feel her stare. Upon her round crest does bear a simple, eloquent conduit of despair. When she's here, she doesn't go until she pays the debt she owes. When you gaze upon her face, she'll take you to her secret place. Good rhyme. You must not stop. It can be extremely dangerous to mock or make fun of the supernatural entities. If you challenge them, they will respond, not when you want them to, when they choose to. You have to understand that many of them have been around before the dawn of man, so human lifespan is a blink of an eye for them. They have an unending patience, and they have nothing better to do than to sit and wait for the right moment to turn your entire existence down. They will wait until you're comfortable while quietly snickering to themselves, watching you every move you make, listening to your taunts, listening to your words, hearing your challenges, waiting for the moment where they're most vulnerable, cocky, and arrogant. They will take you away forever. You're not stronger than them. Fox there, solid stuffed animals. Oh no, that's not good. Dolls and stuff. Target for malicious spirits to use as. I choose these ones because they're often giving plenty of affection and attention from the living. If you ever place a doll or an inanimate object in one place, only to come back and find it in a different position even though you could have sworn you placed it elsewhere, then you might be. Many people think this is an act of a playful spirit. I assure you, there's no such thing. They want to bring as much attention from you to the object as possible, So you continue to look at it, waste time trying to but it very rarely ever does it? No, of course not, because then you'll throw it out. They don't want you to know. Talk to me. If anything has moved around your room since it began. Work quickly, I don't have much time to write this. Take this paper, whether it's blank or already written on, draw next to it. Where do you find this note? You will thank me by the end of this, okay? I will. So. Voices are not here to help you. Keep going. Dolls have been used for voodoo practices and dark magic since the beginning of magic, which, as we all know, has been longer than man. If you ever obtained a doll that you did not previously belong to, watch it very carefully. You do not know its history, you do not know who might have owned it before you, who you might have been in contact with it, or what magics have been at work, what spirits might be attached, or who might have died in the factory. Bard writes tales of legend, true, a wicked man's deed, and witches' hero held by morning's light and souls as pitches the night. A cantor told a ballad sung, a life taken above wrong, a widow maid, an innocent slave, never nearer a word spoken from severed. Kill yourself not with scribes of evil. Please read very carefully, as this is the utmost important to getting through this experience with your sanity intact. I'm going to give you a very clear and concise instruction, and you're going to follow them exactly as they're laid out for you. You're going to need to write some things on a piece of paper for this to work. Use the same piece of paper for every ritual. Once you have placed this piece of paper ready, draw the symbol and shown on the screen as best as you can. If you've performed other rituals, make sure you use the same piece of paper. Just draw over what you've already written. Okay. On the symbol, write a word in each of the corner of the pages, and you write as follows: yes, no, murder, evil. Yes, I'm gonna cross that out. No, not murder, evil. In which corners you wish to put in each of these words in, draw a circle on each of the words and crumple up the piece of paper into the wall. Make this right. Ball of crumpled paper in front of you and place one hand on the paper palm first and your other hand on top of the hand you're using to touching the paper. Okay. Now that your hands are resting over the top of the paper, close your eyes and recite these words aloud. I invite the spirits here with me to answer these questions. I invite spirits to here with me to answer the questions these. I invite the spirits here with thee to answer these questions these. You may open your eyes after you recite these words aloud to ask a question to the spirits. You may ask 3 questions total, not 1, not 2, not 4, 3 and 3 only. The questions you ask should reference the spirits in some way, such as simply asking how they died or something about them that can be answered with as the words presented before you on paper. Be careful what you ask, as you don't want to offend them. Once you ask your questions, close your eyes and come to the corner with a piece of paper and lay it out before you. Place your finger along any corner of the paper and open your eyes to uncover the spirits answer your question. Repeat this process and drawing line from each answer given to the symbol you've drawn on the paper. If the same answer is given multiple times, draw a line to the symbol each separate line. Now, are you ready to proceed, or would like to describe? Do not proceed any further until you complete the task at hand. Wish you best of luck. Let's have some fun then. So, is there any spirits with me right now? Ooh. I did yes without knowing, so I'll draw a line to that then. Okay. Again, just so I don't know where each of the things are. Does the spirit like me? Will he like me, I suppose? Apparently the spirit does not like me. Is there anything I can do to get you to like me? So this corner is, I guess you're an evil spirit, so you have to be evil. If you're at this point, you've probably completed the task. Do not proceed past this message if you're not complete the task. If there's nothing fixing what you could have set in motion by skipping this trial, do not press anything until it's complete. If it is complete, congratulations. If it isn't, I'm sorry. Remember to use the same piece of paper for all rituals. This is very important. Hopefully you complete this trial. If you haven't, continue onward. Dead leave notes for us to find. The soul knows when the soul goes, whenever our minds do not, is another question. If you ever found a note written by a loved one who's gone away, ask yourself if it was written before or after they were gone. It's far more likely you received a silent phone calls nowadays, as most spirits were once people and have learned to adapt and such. You managed to make it to the end or the beginning. However, I have some good news. The good news is, if you can manage to complete all the rituals, you brought yourself a little more time to escape what you managed unknowingly. The grave news is, if you did not complete the rituals properly and skip through them, you've got much less time to sort it all out than you realize. Either way, there's one way and one way only to break the curse Helga has convinced you to bestow upon your livelihood. I use the term break the curse loosely, as the curse can never truly be broken. However, it can be passed on. If you want Helga to leave, you must offer another person return. You must find someone else to carry out the same rituals presented here and follow all the instructions laid out before them, just like you. Hey, passing it on to you guys. This is the only way I could get her to stop haunting me. I had to make this. I didn't want to, but I had to protect those around me and protect myself. She wanted me to help her spread her will. It wasn't a choice. I had to do what she commanded. But I thought if I could find a way to lay this out simply, then people like you could just piece it. The problem is, if you don't have an infinite amount of time, time is not on your side at all, actually, and Helga wants to pay her debts. She can be in many places at once. Trust me, she's with you now. Since the very moment you accepted the agreement, the portal was already open, and she's already been watching you this entire time. Maybe you already seen her. Maybe she's appeared in your head. Maybe you heard her voice. She will haunt your dreams, and she will not let you sleep. That explains all the different words and all the different games, because that's her. That's literally her speaking. That makes so much more sense, and the game starts to connect more. And she will never leave until she gets what she wants. You must find someone to pass her on to and write their name down onto the piece of paper you use for these rituals. Oh, that's so weird that the music has stopped right when I was writing. Do not tell them anything about this session. Do not tell them what to expect. Just tell them they must complete it to what they started. You can be help guide them through if you wish, but they must finish in order for you to leave you alone. Once they complete the rituals, you must tear up the piece of paper you use with their name written on it and throw it away somewhere that will never be found. It's not safe leaving it open around. But for now, pass these rituals on to someone else before she takes you. Names are and our cards are not responsible for anything that happens. Obviously, that's game creators. Ah, and knocking on the door. And there's her. Well, congratulations. Hope you guys enjoyed this spooky session. I hope you guys have a good day, night, month, week. Day, night, week, month of your life, and may the stars forever guide your path, forever it might lead you.